Join us in Ethiopia for the African birthday of Christ from December the 29th, 2025 to January the 7th, 2026. A 10-day tour of Addis Ababa, Shashamane, Sidamo, its sulfur baths, and the majestic waterfalls of the south. Plus, the Battle of Adwa Memorial Museum, the palaces of Haile Selassie I and the great Menelik II, and much, much more will be added to this. Take advantage of our 50% discount until the 1st of October. Purchase your package for the remarkable price of only $1,200. Listen to this. All inclusive means your transportation, your accommodation, your security, and so forth. Again, the 50% offer will last until the 1st of October. To purchase your package or just to receive more information, email us at priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com and you will get more information as it relates to the bonus tour to Lalibela. Ethiopia, the land of origins. See you there.
To slight, oppress, or discourage my people. Because whatsoever education I acquired out of their sacrifice of over 300 years, I shall use for the salvation of the 400 million black people of the world. And the day when I forsake my people, may God Almighty say there shall be no more life for you. I unequivocally rejected the racist assumption of much white American Christianity, namely that God had created the black man inferior and that he had intended Negroes to be a servant class, hewers of wood and drawers of water. Well, I predicated my view of man on the doctrine of Imago Dei. All men, regardless of color, are created in the image of God. Now, from this premise followed the equality of all men and the brotherhood of all men. The biblical injunction of Acts 17:26 reminds us that he created of one blood all nations of men that dwell on the face of the earth. I was most interested in brotherhood within his own race, because if Negroes are created in God's image and Negroes are black, then God must in some sense be black. If the white man has the idea of a white God, let him worship his God as he desires. We have found a new ideal, because whilst our God has no color, and yet it is human to see everything through one's own spectacles, and since the white people have seen their God through their white spectacles, we have only now started to see our God through our own spectacles. But we believe in the God of Ethiopia, the everlasting God, God of Father, God of Son, God of Holy Ghost, the one God of all ages. That is the God in whom we believe, but we shall worship him through the spectacles of Ethiopia. For 250 years, we have struggled under the burden and rigors of slavery. We were maimed, we were brutalized, we were ravaged in every way. We are men. We have hopes, we have passions, we have feelings, we have desires just like any other race. The cry is raised all over the world of Canada for the Canadians, of America for the Americans, of England for the English, of France for the French, of Germany for the Germans. Do you think it unreasonable that we, the blacks of the world, should raise the cry of Africa for the Africans? The Negro is the man. We represent the new Negro. His back is not yet against the wall. We do not want his back against the wall because that would be a peculiar and desperate position. We do not want him there. It is because of this that we are asking for fair compromise. Where the Belgians have control of the Belgian Congo, which they cannot use, they have not the resources to develop, nor the intelligence. The French have more territory than they can develop. There's certain parts of Africa in which you cannot live at all. So it is for you to come together and give us a United States of Africa. We are not going to be a race without a country. God never intended it, and we are not going to abuse God's confidence in us as men. We are men, human beings, capable of the same acts as any other race, possessing on the first circumstances the same intelligence as any other race. Now Africa's been sleeping, not dead, only sleeping. Today Africa's walking around not only on our feet, but on our brains. You can enslave as was done for 300 years the bodies of men. You can tackle the hands of men. You can tackle the feet of men. You can imprison the bodies of men, but you cannot tackle or imprison the minds of men. Dive down, black men, and dig. Reach up, black men and women, and pull all nature's knowledge to you. Turn ye around and make a conquest of everything, north and south, east and west. And then when you have wrought well, you will have merited God's blessing. You will have become God's chosen people, and naturally you will become leaders of the world. And as you bow down to the white man today, so a lot of races bow down to you and call you a race of master because of the superiority of your mind and your achievement. Because no race has the last word on culture and civilization. They do not know what we are capable of. They do not know what we are thinking. They're thinking in terms of dreadnoughts, battleships, aeroplanes, submarines. You know what we're thinking about? That is our own private business. So give us credit for being able to use our minds. And when people becoming conscious of themselves, determined to use their minds, you do not know to what extent they can go. Liberate the minds of men, and ultimately you will liberate the bodies of men. We love the white race, not for social fellowship, but for the common brotherhood of God intended we should live.
Yeah. Oh, blessed love, royal family. Give thanks to the ancient sound. Give thanks to the ancient melody. Blessed love to each and everyone. Give thanks for your presence with us once again. As always, we glorify Nekosenagas, King of Kings, Lion of Judah, the Lord of Lords. We speak of Haile Selassie I, as spoken of in the book of Revelation chapter 5, verse 5, with all clarity. And even one angel had to say, weep not, for behold, he has come. The Lion of the tribe of Judah hath prevailed to loose the seven seals and look thereon. Royal family, we give thanks for your presence with us. We welcome you into the zone. Another edition of the Tiger's Nest. Of course, your humble servant, the Honorable Priest Isaac, here with you. And as always, we intend to have a wonderful sit down this evening. We intend to have a wonderful program tonight, and we will be broadcasting this specific Tiger's Nest through the YouTube as well. So just letting the YouTube family know that this is just one of the many, many programs within the realms of the Tiger's Nest. Every evening we bring forth the Tiger's Nest. So if you want to be a part of this experience, as I always encourage you, I will encourage you once more to subscribe to the Tiger's Nest and definitely never miss another episode again. We will email the program to you. You will get it in your inbox specifically, and of course you will see the level of information and inspiration that we bring forth every evening on the Tiger's Nest. That's the Tiger's Nest audio program now, Royal Family. Priest Isaac Institute at gmail.com. And as you know, the mission continues. Give thanks to those who have been reaching out to us, whereas the mission to Ethiopia would have begun. Well, as I said, as the ambassador to Ethiopia, Honorable Kes Barasso Babu said to my brother, the mission continues. And so it does, for sure. As you know, we will be hosting a wonderful tour. And everyone by now should know of the tour. I'm talking about the Ethiopian Christmas tour. The city and the South. Of course, royal family, this is somewhat in tune to the subject that we have for you tonight, because being on the ground in Ethiopia, we can talk about the attraction that the white Jesus seems to have in Ethiopia. I know from a distance, you watch a few documentaries and you become a bit confused, because here you are telling people that Ethiopia is where the black Christ is, and the Ethiopians, they don't serve no white Christ and all of that stuff. But when you put on the TV, when you open the magazine, you know and I'm telling you, when you come here and see it with your eyes, you wonder, so what's going on? But anyway, we're going to get into that in a few moments. But as I said, royal family, so for sure, the Christmas tour, it literally comes to an end on the 7th of January, which is Christmas. But of course, we will be going through all of the major sites in Addis Ababa. That's number one. That's going to take about 4 days to complete. Trust me, it's going to be high energy. It's going to be non-stop. So prepare yourself. Make sure you have your equipment so you can take pictures. We're going to see all the palaces, at least as much as we can, as it relates to the King of Kings, Haile Selassie, as it relates to the King of Kings, the great Menelik II and Empress Zaditu, etc. Several museums, my royal family, that we will have to see. So you can see the Iknish, which is Lucy. So you can see all of the ancient artifacts and of course, within the Battle of Adwa Victory Museum, all of the weaponry and the arsenal that we had to utilize to destroy the enemy that was trying to invade us. And then the Science Museum and Unity Park. So it's going to be a packed 4 day. And then, of course, we're going to the south. That alone is going to take half of the day. And then we will be experiencing some more of the Emperor's delight. Those of you who love Haile Selassie I and his palace when he was king of Sidamo. Well, not king of Sidamo, pardon me, governor of Sidamo. If you understand the history, you go into the autobiography of Haile Selassie I. He speaks of exactly how he became the governor of Sidamo. And it was that his brother, his elder brother, Yilma, which is the son of Rasmokenen, but they do not share the same mother. And Yilma got the governorship of Harar when Rasmokenen would have passed on. And of course, Haile Selassie at that time, the Deshmark Tefari, was younger than Yilma. But there were many ones who were still saying, no, it is the son of Rasmokenen Tefari that should be the governor of Harar. Anyway, Brother Yilma did pass on, and as the emperor said, this would have saddened his heart. But after getting over the grief, he would have realized that many ones were saying, well, for sure, this time, without a doubt, the young Tafari will become the governor of Harar. Very, very important province, mark you. Obviously, that is why they were saying that. But they gave it to, if I'm not mistaken, it was the Deshmark Balcha and Haile Selassie, who was the Deshmark Tefari at the time, became the governor of Sidamo, at least part of Sidamo. And there was another governor that handled another part of Sidamo. But the emperor speaks of the time he spent in Sidamo as being one of the happiest time of his life, and the joy that he kept. He was quite young now, I visited, of course, the palace at Sidamo, and I went into the bedroom of the emperor. In fact, all of the palaces I visited, we went into the bedroom of the emperor, specifically at Sidamo. We went into the bedroom of his youth. And at that time, you could only imagine it would have been the first set of children, the first one and two that the emperor, as a young man, and Empress Menen would have brought forth. So it was a time of great joy, as he would have said. You would see the emperor's bathroom again. All of the palaces highlight these things. So it's just a joy and to sit in the same seat that the emperor would have sat in. Beautiful. So you would see all of this and the whole yard itself, which is now a museum plus a hotel, a lot of monkeys running up and down, very beautiful. And in the very same area now, this is in the Sidamo area, just there down in Shashamane. We go to Shashamane and then we go up into that area where you have the hot springs, and the waterfall as well, and different hiking treks that we would have to take specifically, more so for the waterfall. So there will be a moment of hiking too. The tour itself is not really a hiking tour, but that will be a bit of hiking. So you could come prepared for that, for those who will be on that one day. So just giving you an idea for sure what to expect. And again, we must return to Addis Ababa and the Christmas ceremony, which will be the 7th day of January. We will experience that as well. Now, let me be clear, that within itself is the Christmas tour, the city and the South. Now, we have a bonus tour that comes exactly immediately after that, which goes to Lalibela. That's for 4 to 5 days. Now that has a fixed price. There's no 50%, there's nothing at all. When you contact us, you get more information on that and you would know how to move yourself from there. But as far as that Christmas tour, Royal Family, from the city to the south, you can get that full package for only $1,200. Now, since we've started to promote this, I've seen many people jump like, wow, for that alone, and people start to ask questions, how much is this and how much is that, because it seems cheap. That's not even my word. My word is it's very affordable, very inexpensive. Family, we're not here to rob nobody. We are about freedom, redemption, international repatriation. But we use our talent to make talents too, eh? And I'm on the ground. And I've done my investigation. And yes, in reality, yeah, it could be a lot more. You go and research for yourself and you see it could be a lot more. But again, this is reaching out to not only just the conscious community, but the fullness of the world. But there are many of us who genuinely want to come and see what the motherland has to offer, specifically the crown head Ethiopia. And we have crafted, you know us, we have crafted a professional, decent tour, educational tour, a secure tour, as you see in the ad, security, and of course, full accommodations. It's all inclusive, the price, I'm telling you. And at the same time, you must keep in mind that there is a mission that many of us have as conscious beings as it relates to returning back to the motherland. So this would be a good first experience for many people. Or you could just see it as a vacation, because that's what it is. It can be that. You could just see it as a tour, because that's what it is. You could see it just coming to have fun and experience in the place. Well, you can see it that way too, because that is what it is. You understand, Royal Family? So again, we're here to make sure everyone is well accommodated. But remember, the $1,200 is the 50% price, 50% off, you understand? And that comes to an end at the 1st of October. But let me give you a little secret here. After October, it doesn't go to the full price. It's going to have a 25% off. So it's going to be a bit more. 25% off of the price until the middle or the end of November. So you have a chance still, if for whatever reason you don't take the opportunity now, to still get a very good price. In fact, when it goes to the full price, it's still a good price. So I don't know what on earth we scratching about. So Royal Family, give thanks for those of you who have already paid such interest. Forward to you being on board with us. Yes, this is the Tiger's Nest radio program. Don't go in. Join us in Ethiopia for the African birthday of Christ from December the 29th, 2025 to January the 7th, 2026. A 10-day tour of Addis Ababa, Shashamane, Sidamo, its sulfur baths, and the majestic waterfalls of the south. Plus, the Battle of Adwa Memorial Museum, the palaces of Haile Selassie I and the great Menelik II, and much, much more will be added to this. Take advantage of our 50% discount until the 1st of October. Purchase your package for the remarkable price of only $1,200. Listen to this. All inclusive means your transportation, your accommodation, your security, and so forth. Again, the 50% offer will last until the 1st of October. To purchase your package or just to receive more information, email us at priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com and you will get more information as it relates to the bonus tour to Lalibela, Ethiopia, the land of origins. See you there. Once again, give thanks, Royal Family, for your presence with us. Of course, again, this is the Tiger's Nest program. Honorable Priest Isaac here with you. And again, for those of you who have been asking, I'm very thankful, It is a joy to know that people understand the work that you're doing and want to express their love. So those who have been asking about means and ways of contribution, again, almost everything just goes straight to the email, Priest Isaac Institute @gmail.com. So you can utilize the PayPal, you can utilize the Cash App, you can utilize the Zelle, or again, you can just contact us just in case there are other means and ways, Western Union and so forth, that you may prefer to utilize. Everything can be done computerized as well. You don't have to get up and go anywhere. So for sure, Priest Isaac Institute @gmail.com, and of course, all payments go through that. Very good. Now, I did a program a few months ago. It's less than a year ago. In fact, I did this program, I think, twice. And the program really is highlighting His Holiness, the present Abuna, I think it's Abuna Matthias of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. And His Holy Father was being interviewed by Zainab Badawi of the BBC. And this interview was seen in a documentary series speaking of the history of Africa. Now, I'm not going to play the clip at this time, but the good brother, I'm speaking of the Abuna, was asked about the complexion of Jesus and Mary. In fact, Sister Zainab Badawi would have highlighted that all over Ethiopia, you see the picture of Jesus and Mary, with African features, brown skin and soft afro. These are the words she used in her description. And she said that to all over Ethiopia. She went on to say, unlike the depiction that we get in Europe of him being, him and his mother being European, white, and so forth, which again is interesting, and it's not that she's not correct. But even in her own documentary, there's several clips where the Christ figure is seen, and it's that same European depiction that she says is seen in Europe, but it's seen right there in Ethiopia. But anyway, that's not what she put to the good brother. She clearly asked of the African features, soft afro, and light brown skin. I don't think she said light. Brown skin. And the good Abuna answered by saying, well, Ethiopians, paraphrasing here, Ethiopians really, yes, some Ethiopians make the face of their own. Just like when you travel to, for example, the Caribbean, you see them make the face like their own. And she came in and said like their own, and he said like their own. In fact, I don't even think I'm paraphrasing. I'm saying it word for word. And that was another stoplight for me. You come to a stop sign, a junction in the road. That was a junction in the road. I said, huh? What he done? I don't want to disrespect the Holy Father for sure. And even Sister Zainab. But my brothers and sisters, again, I have been to the vast majority of the Caribbean countries. Most of them. This depiction of Caribbean people as Jesus, I've never seen that really. I mean, I would say I've never seen that. But for example, in Antigua, they have a group of brothers and sisters conscious within themselves called the Temple of Light. They're not Christians in the regular sense, but it's a similar philosophy as such. And they paint all the disciples and so forth black. That's not no regular thing. What I mean? That's not nothing that is highlighted to the world. We never heard that on BBC. So when the good Abuna was saying that the Caribbean make the Christ like themselves, and the Caribbean is not just black people as such. The Caribbean is a lot of Indian and Caucasian is not even counted, my brothers and sisters. So that was an interesting statement there. But let's move on. So then he went on to say now, so there's no need to trouble the color of Jesus and Mary because they're Jews, they're white people. He said white people too. Then Sister Zainab basically came back with the same question, but she was emphasizing the Virgin Mary now, and the brother came in. You could see now he was like slightly on the defense. Like, come on, man, listen. It don't trouble it. That's not it. We can't trouble it. That's paraphrasing. But he basically said, let me get his words correctly. It's the same thing with the Saint Mary. She also is Jew. She's Israelite. So no need to change who she is, which is white people. Now, here on the ground in Ethiopia, without really launching an investigation, my brothers and sisters. Obviously, that African ancient Christ figure that she was speaking of, Sister Zainab Badawi, is all around you. But the white, real Jesus now, not the Yeshua, I'm sure, not Yeshua, not Emmanuel, because we have a church in Lalibela for Emmanuel, not for Jesus. It's called Better Emmanuel. It's not called Better Jesus. You understand? All around we have the Caucasian image, the Jesus and Mary figure as Europeans. It is all around from what I've seen in Addis Ababa. Even when we leave Addis Ababa, you see it along the corridor going to the south. It's on churches. It's on buses. It's on the little tuk-tuk Barrett three-wheel stuff. It's on bikes. The same Jesus with the throne, the crown of thorns around his head, looking up into the sky and bawling. This may sound harsh to some of you, but we don't really practice too much mercy for Jesus. But we are followers of the Yeshua, the King Emmanuel, the true Christ figure. Man, we would even rock with Isus Christus. But for sure, Yeshua is the real Mashiach, Messiah. Yeah, Isa. All of that we can roll with it because it has a different level of agency, even though it has been watered down by its own people and through their customs. But anyway, let's stay focused here. So the thing is that as we are researchers, and I'm not with that stuff some people try to say, maybe because they step foot in Africa, or you can't talk about Africa unless you go to Africa. Don't make nobody tie you up in that kind of stuff. We speak about the stars. We speak about space. Never been to space. Not unless you consider Earth in space, which it really is, But you know what I mean when I'm saying that. You understand. Don't doubt yourself. If you are a professor if you consider yourself a master in Ethiopian history and you've never been here, big up yourself. Because I am here teaching Ethiopians what they don't know. I'm just telling you the truth. I have been to places that most of the Ethiopians never been to at all. Unless it's a tour guide, I don't think I've come across anyone yet that has been to Lalibela. Now, here, listen, remember it's like 130 something million people here, don't get me wrong. But still, I'm showing you, I don't think I'm wrong if I'm to say less than 1% of the population, and vast majority of the population are little children, So less than 1% of the population has been to Ethiopia. Pardon me, Lalibela, less than 1%. I'm positive. Neck on the block, I'm sure, and again, I mean, there's so many people here, so it's not like I'm looking down on the wonderful, beautiful people of Abyssinia. Definitely not. I'm just trying to show you the reality of what it is. So, I mean, straight up, even when you go through the guided tours, myself and my good brother from the Moorish Science Temple of America, Brother Ramel L. When myself and Brother Ramel L. went through the museum at Addis Ababa University, and a few other stops that we made. Give thanks to the Sheikh Professor Ramel Jamal L. He definitely was a part of our delegation to the African Union CARICOM Summit, as we would have mentioned before, and for sure within the delegation to the Climate Summit as well, and our fact-finding and visitation to several sites. So we were very thankful for the presence of the Moorish Science Temple of America with us on the mission to Ethiopia on a very diplomatic level, and as well as a spiritual level as well. So all respect and salute to the Moorish Science Temple of America once again, and their representative that came on our fact-finding mission, our diplomatic mission, Brother Professor Sheikh Ramel L. And for sure, we intend to have a beautiful sit down with him so we can revise the mission to Ethiopia. I'm talking about in front of the audience, family. So you can look forward to that. All right. Wow, what was I saying about this? Oh, yes. So even when me and the good brother went to specific museums, I'm telling you, the brother would have to correct some of the tour guides, and I must say in some cases, I was just humble because I would have heard some dates and some names. I said, that ain't how the history goes. But I just cool. And numbers, I said, no, he got it wrong. But the brother himself, he said, hey, no, my brother, listen, I know you're Ethiopian and everything, but we have done the study. Look, we have the autobiography of Haile Selassie right here. Oh, you know Haile Selassie. Come on, brother. You can't fool us, man. Pardon me. Yeah, but this is the tiger's nest, eh? This is how we do it. So yeah, but it is what it is, eh? Haile Selassie the first clearly showed us that Ethiopia awaits its creators and creation. That's us. Ethiopia is awaiting us. We are the one with the jewels. We are the one with the information to teach this stuff. So this is why, as I said, this whole mission is diplomatic as well, reaching out to the government institutions and reaching out to Ministry of Culture and reaching out to Prime Minister's office and President's office and Minister of Tourism and Minister of Foreign Affairs and Minister of Immigration, trying to make sure things are balanced in so many different ways. But of course, now, as I said, to keep on the subject area, so it is obvious that something is lacking. I like to say, what a beautiful people that definitely has remembered their culture. They have remembered their culture. And with all due respect to these lovely people, but I think they have somewhat lost and forgotten their anciency. And you may say, so how you can remember your culture and forget your agency? Well, again, that's why you got to come and see for yourself. You got to be on the ground. And you can see that you can't even get the thinnest paper between these people and their culture. Culture is number one on the chart, whether it's their coffee ceremony, the tea ceremony, the buna, the chai, whether it is the injera, whether it is the chiro, whether it's fasting day or not fasting day. You can't play with nobody when it comes to their fasting day and not fasting day. These are people that are high on their culture. But when you go to your cultural church and you see the white European up on, then you know something's missing here. We have lost connection with our anciency. And this is why I commend and applaud what I've seen in Ethiopia, the works that is taking place at the hands of the present prosperity government. I ain't no politician, you know that for sure. I'm just a realist. And I'm speaking specifically, this ain't across the board, I don't know everything, but I'm narrowing this stuff down to the edification program. I have not really ciphered it out fully in the schools, but from parents and children within the school system to young ones, the history is taught to some degree as it relates to Haile Selassie, Menelik, and the Adawa, that regular stuff as such. But again, I would have witnessed for myself the beautiful institutions, and I've not been to all as yet. The wonderful museums, and this is outside of the whole science and school of technology and all of that now. But when it comes to the historical and yes, the cultural aspect of Ethiopia, this is on display. Now, yes, it's a strong part of the tourism, the tourism agenda. And the regular Ethiopian doesn't really go into these places. But it seems to be almost mandatory for school children at some time of their life to go through these museums. And more museums are rising up. More cultural centers, highlighting their history are rising up. So what the Derg would have totally tried to wipe out is being established today. Palaces are being renovated, listen to me good, and open, yes, for the tourists and who want to come. But you see the children in uniform when you visit these places, passing through with their teachers. So that means that you know what it means to go on a field trip as a child. You never forget that. It sticks with you forever. And that's the sort of environment I see as it relates to these institutions and museums and different houses of education that are rising up here in Ethiopia. So that is why I commend them, not the government as such alone, but that is why I commend these institutions that have been established, and I promote them and encourage people to come and see them and keep them alive, because they're definitely doing a duty as it relates to our reparation, which is keeping our history alive, keeping our story alive. When you understand your story, you're going to rip the white Jesus off the wall. That's why we defeated Mussolini. That's why we defeated Crispy at the Battle of Ottawa, to keep the white Jesus off the wall. So how is it we're going to defeat these people, and after we're done, we put them on the wall? We take our heroes off the wall and put the people that our heroes defeated on the wall, and go into the church and kneel down and pray to them. And this is another thing now. This is another thing. It's not a case of, the Ethiopians are like just locked into the white Jesus as such. Whatever is happening there, you go to Ghana and you expect that as such. But in Ethiopia is a mixture of both. You go to Lalibela. Behind a curtain, there's something called the holiest of holies. And on one side of the curtain, there's a portrait of the Black Mary with her Christ son. And on the other side is the white Mary with her Jesus boy. Now, when you see that, you see, okay, I see the problem here. This is serious now. This is some split personality thing taking place here. It's not one or the other. The two of them guarding the entrance to the holiest of holy. You see the priest go in and come out of there. Now, so this is a totally different situation here. What we would have learned since we're here, seeing that in some cases the white image is on the out front, but in the background you have the dark Christ and his mother. The word is that, well, you see, we highlight this for the tourists. Which tourists? The tourists don't want to come and see this. The tourists want to come and see the truth. That's why the tourists left where they left to come and see what you have. They came to eat your food. They came to dance to your music. You don't have to give them their food. And I am very honored to see that too. You don't have no Kentucky, no McDonald's, no Murder King, none of these things around here. Give the people a round of applause, Rastafari. Yeah. Give thanks for that. But to the subject again. So there's no need for that. So I would like to see a reverse to this because I'm a historian and I study Ethiopian history. And it was not always so. In fact, it appears as if somewhere in the 80s or the 90s, this stuff really went on a rampage. But prior to that, even in the time of the emperor and prior to that, it's the African artwork. And this is another thing. You go to the northern part of Ethiopia now, which is considered to have a sort of holier energy. Of course, Aksum and Tigray and Gondar, they themselves have also, obviously, Lalibela have been bit by the bug. But for sure, on these islands in Lake Tana and these places, you have the more ancient manuscripts, the real old paintings and the real old artwork. And they're showing you without a doubt we're dealing with an African refined people. We never ever had any picture of any European Christ. Nowhere. Nowhere. You cannot find that beyond 1990 something or in the 1900s. Let me say 1900s. But you cannot carry me in the 18 and the 1700s. You surely cannot carry us into the 16 and the 1500s and show us anything that looks close to a Caucasian Christ in the Ethiopian tradition. Yeah. So, that is why we always say if you know your Bible and you do not know your history, the knowledge of your Bible will become a mystery. Yeah. So, give thanks, Royal Family, for your presence with us. Give thanks for another edition of the Tiger's Nest. Again, looking forward to everyone, being with us for the Ethiopian tour in December to January, the African Christmas tour. Yes, as many of you highlighted, very, very inexpensive and affordable. That's the case, but it's more affordable. It's more affordable if you get it for 50% off. You understand? For sure. When it goes to the right price, some of you are going to start to scratch your head. But brothers and sisters, for sure, remember you got to take care of the cost to get there, your airplane cost. But keep in mind, we can assist you with all of that. We could assist you with finding the best flights depending on where you're coming from. We can assist you in the acquisition of your visa, so you don't have to worry about none of these things. You get great assistance from us. All you got to do is just contact us, Priest Isaac Institute at gmail.com. Give thanks continually, Royal Family. Those of you who are not subscribers to the Tiger's Nest, I look forward to hear from you, and we will subscribe you right away. Of course, it takes some real eyes to realize the real lies that are amongst us. Family, cut and clear. Move all obstacles out the way. Great God. Marcus I, Selassie I, Jah Rastafari. Blessed. Join us in Ethiopia for the African birthday of Christ from December the 29th 2025 to January the 7th, 2026. A 10-day tour of Addis Ababa, Shashamane, Sidamo, its sulfur baths, and the majestic waterfalls of the south. Plus, the Battle of Adwa Memorial Museum, the palaces of Haile Selassie I and the great Menelik II, and much, much more will be added to this. Take advantage of our 50% discount until the 1st of October. Purchase your package for the remarkable price of only $1,200. Listen to this. All inclusive means your transportation, your accommodation, your security, and so forth. Again, the 50% offer will last until the 1st of October. To purchase your package or just to receive more information, email us at priestisacinstitute@gmail.com and you will get more information as it relates to the bonus tour to Lalibela, Ethiopia, the land of origins. See you there.